Hey folks, it's Dr. Baker here. Let's talk a little bit about snacking. Now, for a lot of people, snacking is one of the reasons why they're overweight, to be honest. We have an entire snack food industry that promotes mindless, continuous snacking on basically garbage. But there can be a role for snacking within the context of a low-carb, meat-based diet, elimination diet, and so on and so forth. So we'll talk a little bit about that here. So let's talk about people that might benefit from snacking. Now, these people are maybe underweight folks, people that struggle to eat enough in a single setting, those that are intensely exercising, those are people that are especially busy with travel and work.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So they can't cook a meal all the time. Maybe people with some hypothyroid issues that might eat smaller, regularly timed meals than other folks that can benefit from less frequent meals that are larger. Snacks can be extremely helpful if you're just starting out on a meat-based diet and you're used to snacking and you're just kind of used to the psychological habit that causes. And so if you're used to having hunger signals,
my spider sense is tingling,
and feeding that with snacks, it may make sense to start out with snacking on appropriate healthy things first, and then you can maybe look to eliminate those later. Some ideas for snacks include things like jerkies and pork rinds and smoked salmon and roasted chicken, eggs, bacon, things like that. Having a filling meat-based snack will often do a very good job of satisfying your hunger and will allow you to function pretty well, as opposed to a really kind of a high carb or refined carbohydrate, processed carbohydrate snack usually is a very poor solution for hunger in most cases. So some people should tend to stay away from snacks, and certainly every time you eat really anything, including snacks, your blood sugar will often go up, sometimes more rapidly with carbohydrates than they will with a protein fat meal, but nonetheless it will go up eventually. And those individuals with diseases that have a relationship to blood glucose may see an improvement by generally avoiding snacking. Those would obviously include people on the diabetes spectrum, where it's type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes or hyperinsulinemia, PCOS, and some of the autoimmune conditions actually seem to be exacerbated by glucose fluctuations, things like psoriasis, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, eczema, even some of the neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety disorders, and any kind of inflammatory condition can be exacerbated by, again, rapidly fluctuating blood glucose. Now we've kind of talked a little about some of the nuances on who and who shouldn't do snacking. Let's talk about things you might be wanting to consider. So figure out the setting where you think you might be snacking. Is it work, at your office, at your desk? Are you on the road a lot? Are you going to be at home? Are you out hiking at a concert, on a plane, something like that? These different environments may better lend towards different types of snacks. So finding out where you're going to be, how much you think you're going to need, how long you're going to need to go is a good way to sort of plan some of the things. So let's talk about how to choose a snack. So, obviously things you like are going to make the most sense, right? And so, again, jerkies can be very good. Now, I would caution you about a lot of the commercial store-bought jerkies are loaded with garbage. So find one with minimal ingredients, maybe meat and salt ideally, or ideally make your own. A food dehydrator is a great addition to a meat-based household. You can make all kinds of wonderful dried meats, which are just absolutely delicious, far better than what you're going to buy in the store. Absent that, pork rinds, they have steak bites, hard-boiled eggs, tuna, anchovies, sardines, pre-cooked salmon, deli meats can be good depending on, again, how much is processed with them. If you're at home and you got access to a quick little meal, you can make a couple of eggs, scramble up some eggs, maybe a piece of roasted chicken, burger patty, bone broth, maybe some shrimp braised in butter. Some bacon is always nice to have on hand, and maybe a little small steak. You can get a little, for me, anything under a pound is, I consider a small steak, but I got a big appetite. All right, you can add some fat while preparing those things, and that often helps. And so things like butter and olive oil, duck fat, avocado oil, mayonnaise if you're using plants, tallow are all good options to increase the fat content if you need to do that. And then, of course, the best step of all is eating the snack and enjoying what you're doing. The fat and the protein, I would wager, will tie you over a lot longer than some kind of carby granola bar or something along those lines. Anyway, so that's some of the things to think about for snack ideas on a meat-based diet. Let me know what you guys prefer to do. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe, to like, and hit the notification bell. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.